Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm going to look at this. This is Paranoiac from 1963. It's a psychological thriller. And guess what? It's a Hammer film. Wow, yes. It's one I've been after, and I'm so pleased I've got it now in the collection. And I just wanted to review it. It's a great film. Wow, it really is. Oh, yeah. Well, let's get into it. It's 80 minutes long. It's not very long, is it? Oh, Rotten Tomatoes give it 80%, which is pretty good for them, I would say. The critics now, yeah, they appreciate how good this was. As usual, at the time with Hammer, there was always the criticism. I think you could say this follows in many ways the trend in 1960 with Psycho and this kind of black and white film, the way it's filmed and everything, and to do with, you know, the psychological thrillers, very much so. Excellent. Now, it is written, the screenplay, by Jimmy Sangster, and it's based on a novel called Brat Ferrara by Josephine Tay. Now, it's, well, when it comes to Jimmy Sangster, what can you say? As a writer, he was involved in X the Unknown from 1956. He wrote The Curse of Frankenstein, 1957, which of course set the whole Gothic cycle going. Dracula, 1958, he wrote that. The Revenge of Frankenstein, 1958, so very busy in that period. He'd also done The Snorkel. Remember The Snorkel, 1958? Maniac, 1963. And of course, The Nanny, 1965, with Bette Davis. What a wonderful film that is. Absolutely fantastic. As a director, he directed The Horror of Frankenstein, 1970. Lust for a Vampire, 1971. And underrated Hammer, Fear in the Night, 1972. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Then, as we got as a director, now another great name here, Freddie Francis. Wow. Now, as a cinematographer, he was really on the ball, I'll tell you. He really was well loved and respected. Now, for Hammer, he did Never Takes Sweets from a Stranger, which is a 1960 film, which is so way ahead of its time. And the subject matter is very difficult, but the fact that they'd done that at this time is just incredible. And for Hammer, it really is. And he was the cinematographer on, get this, The Elephant Man, 1980, David Lynch film. French Lieutenant's Woman, 1981, which was just a film that people absolutely loved, won a lot of awards. Dune. Yes, here we are again, David Lynch. Oh, wow. I love Dune. It's one of my all-time favourite films. I don't care what people say. I love Dune. I really do. I do like the remake, but yes, I love Dune. 1984, Lynch's version. So what can I say? Oh yeah, Cape Fear. Let's just mention he did the cinematography on Cape Fear, which is a Scorsese classic from 1991. Then when we look at him as a director, Day of the Triffids, 1963. What can I say? Day of the Triffids. What a film. Absolutely love it. The Evil of Frankenstein, 1964. Now, Dr. Terror's House of Horror, 1965, which was Hammerkiss's first film, and that is considered a really good of these anthology horror films. We got The Skull, 1968. We got Torture Garden, 1969. We got Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, 1968. We've got the infamous Krog. Yes, 1970. You know, one Joan Crawford's last film. And Tales That Witness Madness, another anthology horror from 1973. Yes, wow. It's all good, isn't it? It's all good. Now, before I get into the cast, I just mention the locations as usual with Hammer. Just add that extra bit on this. Now, we've got the Isle of Purbeck in Dorset. We've seen that before. There's just looks great. It looks great, and it's important for the dramatic parts of this film. The filming them there, and also we've got the church again in Bray. Bray was a very popular family because they're at the Bray Studios, of course, and Bray Studios very much used at this time. In fact, I'm not 100% sure, but I get the impression this could well have been the last film at Bray Studios. I'm going on the documentary which is on this disc. It is. I think it could well be before they moved to Elstree. But yeah, Bray Studios is amazing for what they did at Hammer for there. Anyhow, let's get into the cast. Okay, we've got Jeanette Scott, who plays Eleanor Ashby. She was in The Day of the Triffids, 1963, and she was in another sci-fi classic, or maybe not so well known, but it's a great film, Crack in the World from 1965. She was in those two. Those two stand out. And then I'm going to get to him. I've got to, because he's such a wonderful actor. Oliver Reed, who plays Simon Ashby. The more you look at Oliver Reed's filmography, the amount of films he's appeared in. I'm going to mention some, but there's so many I've probably missed out. But we'll start. Sword of Sherwood Forest, 1916, well, very early film from him, and that is a Hammer. He was in The Curse of the Werewolf, of course, 1961. Wow, I mean, it was Hammer's first werewolf film, and there he is in that. Then The Pirates of Blood River, who could not forget that, with Christopher Lee, brilliant, 1962. Captain Clegg, do you remember that one? That was from 1962. The Damned. Now, The Damned comes same year as this one. The Damned is a Joseph Losey film. It's great because it starts off with Oliver Reed in this biker gang, and then it goes into a sci-fi story. It's wonderful. I love it. Absolutely love it. And of course, it's by Losey, who went on, with his brilliant The Servant. Yes, The Servant. He did The Servant. And, who can, I'm off again. But then Oliver Reed was in things like The System as well, which I've done on this channel, which is a great film. I enjoyed that one. Oliver, of course, 1968. Who can forget him in that? Women in Love, 1969, which really launched him. And The Devils, Ken Russell's controversial film, 1971. Then he was in The Three Musketeers, 1973. The Four Musketeers, 1974. He was in The Brood. Now, Brood, 1979, which is a Cronenberg film. Absolutely, what a film to be in. He was in Tommy, I forgot about that, 1975, the musical Tommy. Great in that, yes. And his last film was Gladiator, which he died when they were making it. And wow, it's just amazing career. I'm not going to say, and he's such a great actor. Unfortunately, his drinking and all that kind of thing sort of has kind of overshadowed some of his career. But I don't think we should take anything away from him all as an actor. Sheila Burrell plays Aunt Harriet. She was in Hell is Empty, 1967, Desperados, 1969, Afraid of the Dark, 1991, and she is somebody who made a lot of TV series as well. Then we've got Maurice Denham, a name that pops up as a character actor who plays John Cossett. He was in Oliver Twist, 1948, classic British film. Doctor at Sea, 1955. Night of the Demon, what a film, 1957. The Nanny, yes, he was in The Nanny, 1965, wonderful. Torture Garden, that's the anthology series, 1967. Shout at the Devil, 1976. Wow, yes. Then we've got Alexandra Davion, who plays Tony Ashby. Or is it Tony Ashby? 1966, Plague of the Zombies, one of my favourite Hammer films. Absolutely. It was in Valley of the Dolls, 1967, which is a bit of a cult classic, that one. And another film he was in was called Incense for the Damned, but it's known as Bloodsuckers. I like that title better. And that's got Peter Cushing in, 1971. And then again, he's another with lots of TV series. So, what is the film about? Well, it starts with seeing this church service, and it's remembering Mr. and Mrs. Ashby, who were rich people in this particular area, who died in a plane crash. They had 3 children. And 3 years later, their elder son, who was 15 years old, jumped off a cliff. Tony, he was called. And he left a suicide note behind. Then we've got the 2 left. We've got Simon and sister Eleanor. And they're left under the care of their aunt Harriet. Yes. Now, how can I describe Simon? That's played by Oliver Reed. He basically is a very unstable character who wants the money. He's drinking himself, causing trouble everywhere. He's not liked. And he wants to get his sister committed, so he becomes the sole inheritor of the estate, basically. But then those plans are rather upset by what they seem to be the return of Tony. Tony has appeared, and that does not go down well at all. Not at all. But there's a question mark. Is it really Tony? Is this an imposter? And this is how the film unravels, and we get into it about what is going on, and it's beautifully done, really so well. You're gripped by it. They say the 80 minutes just sail by, and the film works so well. There's so many themes going through it, about effectively a psychopath, really. That is what the Oliver Reed character is. And his violence and what leads to murder is totally unstable. You could even, say he's almost insane, really. What a performance it is. There's even him playing this organ, and I'm thinking to myself, this is getting gothic, You can imagine Vincent Price, playing the organ like he does, this madness. And some of the scenes in it are just amazing. The way the director just brings it all out and the cinematography as well. It's all there. It's brilliant. Of course, the censors had a few problems with this film. There's certain underlying themes, you could say, very much sexual and violence and things that the censors did not like together. The sexual sort of themes are there, maybe about incest. It's there. It's kind of very much suggested, and the violence, of course. So the censors had a real problem, I think, with some of this. But Hammer were very crafty. They put in loads and hoped that they would get through some of these themes, and it works well. It works well. I love this film. I've just got to say I do. I think it's great. If you have not seen it, see these with, in the context of all these other Hammer films that were like this of that era. Just, it's a treat. It's a real treat. It gives you that appetite for films, watching films. And when you see some of the more modern films nowadays that you get, oh dear, this film is just absolutely wonderful. I love it. It really gives me that time. I wish I could watch even more of these. Well, I can. I can watch those, but new ones, discover new ones that I haven't seen. Anyhow, before I go, just like to say, here it is, fantastic, and the extras, the documentary. Really, it's all about this documentary, which is fantastic documentary on here. And that's it. I'm done. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We'll let you know when I put out these videos and look at and playlists. If you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. Really do. Fantastic. And if you like it, as I say, give it a like, get it out onto YouTube, and hopefully people might like it, although they won't. I don't know. But that's it, really. As I say, all cost note, and all I gotta say is, I'll see thee again.